Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope your weekend was fantastic. It is now. So it's a little bit later there, but they're New York. Before we get started with them, though, I want to thank my sponsors at 5-Star Guitars. They are based here in Beaverton. So if you're anywhere else in the country, you should know that you can actually buy these guitars and all of their accessories with no sales tax. So you can save a bunch of money if you go to www.5starguitars.com and check out their inventory. They also have repairs and lessons. So if you want to get lessons from pros like Jennifer Batten, you can go to www.5starguitars.com and sign up and let them know that I sent you. They would appreciate it, and I'll appreciate it too. So let them know I sent you. Now, we've got some really fun people in New York City. There's a band called Jessie's Girl that I first met on the '80s cruise, which is this incredible excursion. Left Florida, went out through the Caribbean, and this band had been around for a while. They are the go-to for '80s entertainment in this whole industry. All the big national acts that need a band to back them up, if they've got a singer that needs a band. There are also these weekly events that were happening pre-COVID at the Paramount in New York City. And so we're going to talk about what happened prior to COVID, what's happening now. They got a cool event coming up that we're going to talk about. And so I'm going to bring it in one by one. I've got Drew, I've got Mike, I've got Eric, and I've got two Drews. So, and while we wait for the other guys in the band, I want to just have you guys introduce yourselves a little bit. Look at this. Oh, man.
Why am I frozen?
You're upside down, bro.
Let's see if you're truly upside down on the live stream.
Am I frozen?
No, you're not frozen. You're upside down.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can hear you well.
Okay, is the camera working? I'm like,
you're upside down. Whatever. You're upside down, yeah.
What the fuck's going on?
Actually, you know what? You look good. Honestly, you look good on the live stream. So what you're fine.
Why is my shit locked up?
No, don't know. You're fine, actually. On our window here, because of the way that your phone was set up, it looks upside down. But I just had a guess the other day that right now, where you're at, dude, you're looking good. So, man, you've got some other people that are already chiming in saying he's not upside down. Technology, folks, that's the way it works. In the COVID era, man, we get to deal with latency and echo and feedback and all that stuff. But man, I have to tell you guys, two unshaven, and three well-shorn dudes. I'm so glad to see you, man. Mike Menza, dude, you're out in some ranch in Rochester, you said?
I'm up in Westchester.
Westchester, okay.
The past 3 days, I've been traveling a lot for work. I've been in Massachusetts. I've been in Connecticut. And I'm looking forward to getting back to New York. Probably tomorrow. We're going to be playing our virtual performance at the Bowery Electric on Friday. And yeah, good to see you. You look good.
Yeah, thank you, man. You too. Hey, Drew, you're good, buddy. As long as you look great. You sound great. It's all good.
Can you see me moving?
Yes, you're just upside down.
All right.
No, but
my main screen here is locked up for some reason, but this one's okay.
As long as you can see the guys and we can hear each other, we're all good, man.
All right.
So the way this kind of works, I got some great buddies here. Some that have seen you on the cruise. Actually, Catherine Cluth saw you on the '80s cruise 2019. So Catherine, I'm glad you're here. Mike Klaus, good to see you. Lori says, "Stop messing with your camera, Drew." So your hair looks good, man. It's all
Thanks,
fine.
Lori.
So we first met the very first '80s cruise. I'll never forget it, man. I was hiding out in the hot tub, not wanting to show off my naked body, and Mike is like, Mike came over and introduced himself. And when you first meet Mike Menza, you know instantly that this guy's a rock star. You don't have to see him on stage; he just exudes rock and roll. So, and I never realized until we were down at the Dominican Republic, man, that you and Kip Winger are almost doppelgangers, right? So you've heard it before, right?
I've heard it a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Luke Skywalker. Not Luke Skywalker. It's Han Solo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that works.
Halloween, he's got to go as Han Solo. He really nails it out of the park.
Gruffy.
So what do you guys do for Halloween now, man? You guys are stuck. All of you guys are sort of in some part of New York City, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm in Chinatown, man. I can't hear Eric. I can't hear these guys. Is that
we
what
actually have a gig in Wichita.
For Halloween?
Yeah,
Wichita, Kansas.
Yep. Yeah, we're coming out we have a side project called Supersonic Blonde.
Yeah, since Mike froze, we got a side project called Supersonic Blonde. So it's Drew, Mike, and I, and we have a friend of ours, and we're going to do that for Halloween. We wish we had a Jessie's Girl gig, but, the world is what it is right now.
So stylistically, you're still doing 80s kind of cover tunes?
Well, we just had our first gig last Wednesday in Lyndhurst, New Jersey.
That was Jessie's Girl.
It was Jessie's Girl gig. It was our first one back. They did it right, limited seating, and we're making bits. I mean, you obviously know as well as anybody that this has been tough on all of us. No gigs for 6 months plus for some people. I mean, there are ways. I think the industry is figuring out ways to make this work. We had a conversation last week with our manager Marcus, and venues are talking about booking us possibly for 2 shows in one day, so they can space people out. I mean, it's something. It's a gig.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've done doubles before on numerous. And this is easy because it's in the same location. So.
Okay. Yeah. Right. That's an interesting thing, right? So that's one of the reasons that's hard for venues to try and figure out how to be able to financially make this sustainable. Because
right now.
What people are thinking is you book 2 shows the same day, so you do an early show, a 7 and a 9, or a 7 and a 9:30. You get the same amount of people in the room. You already got everyone there anyway.
Yeah.
And we just do maybe the show's 20 minutes shorter or 10 minutes shorter, so we're not exhausted. But
yeah, you guys put so much energy into your shows, man. I don't know how you could pull off 2-hour shows full length and actually still pack them in. But
had it been the 80s, it would have been cocaine. But now it's 5-hour energy, and then the next day we don't move for a while. So
God, man. So this gig on the 2nd, this show live from the Bowery. So this is a pre-recorded show that you guys already did, and you're going to
No. Oh, we're going to go dead live
and do it from the venue.
From the venue, live.
That's cool. All right. So
bars and everything.
On your website, I know that you've got information about it. People can buy.
I'm not hearing Kevin.
Okay.
Should I log off and log back on?
Sure. Yeah, if you can, because Eric, you can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Okay.
Yeah. I have a feeling it might just be internet connection, not allowing video and audio to come through for him.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it live, like live. In fact, I was just sitting here in front of my computer running songs because even though we've been playing songs for 10 years, when you don't get your hands on them or, in a while, that muscle memory goes away. So
sure,
I'm just running them and trying my best. But yeah, we're going to go live from the Bowery Electric. It's a little East Village venue.
Yeah. So you'll have full production, lights and everything like that? So
yeah, we're not even going to use the stage. The stage has become Mike's drum riser.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you've ever been to New York, but some clubs are small.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm talking small. So this place has everything ready to go for live streaming.
I don't know what's going on, man. I can't
Drew,
hear you guys.
Drew, you can't hear me? How about you, Mike? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but then sometimes I can't.
Okay.
I can't hear Eric. I don't know what's going on, dude.
We may have just...
Yeah, you're clipping in and out.
One of the things...
Welcome, as I was saying, it's a little village with a little East Village place with a stage, but they've worked out all the kinks. They have the internet connection going. They have the film crew ready to go. They have the mixing console in another room. So instead of going to like a big place that's not ready, we went with someone that was proven, So that's why So for the first one, we're going to go with this one.
And the tickets are really... affordably priced too. I noticed. Man.
Oh yeah, I think it's only $19 or $19.80. I think we charge.
yeah, and then you can get a party of two. So if you and a buddy want to be able to watch from across city, you can. If you go to funmusicpresents.veeps.com, I know you can get tickets, but everything is on your website. I know at Jessie's Girl.
Yeah,
JESSIE'SGirlNYC.com. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put it right here. So people, if boom, there it is. Yeah, if people want to go to the website, hit that. Right at the top, there's an information piece about that show. Bring Drew back in here. He wasn't able to hear us for a second, so I hit him while we figured this out. But I'm going to leave this up so people can go and check this out. The show's Friday night, and I love that you're doing this live, man. Do you guys also have a place that you rehearse to kind of prep this thing?
We don't rehearse.
Yeah, well, the band's been around long enough, so you rehearse on your own, and then you show up. So
sound check is rehearsal. That's right. That's for us.
Sounds like a flock of seagulls, man. That been in the band.
There's no rehearsal. Mike and I and Drew, I've been hosting backyard jams during this, so it's always been less than 10 people.
Yeah.
And nobody shares a microphone, and we clean the microphones, but we've been doing it in my backyard.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to get my computer to work.
Okay.
I'm hiding Drew again for a second until we get that squared away.
So we've been having some backyard get-togethers, and then in my summer house we do some live streaming. But we've been
cutting in and out.
Me? That's you. But I've been doing. Mike, Drew, and I have been really getting together all the time.
Yeah, that's cool.
We have I have a whole electronic setup.
Oh,
where we all play direct, electronic drums.
Yeah.
And Mike has a whole studio, a live studio in Brooklyn. So
the Beat Lab.
Yeah. So we do either one.
That's cool, man.
Well, we want to be loud and affect our hearing. We go there. If not, we're all in ears, and it's like.
Oh yeah, man. It's such a different time we live in. Nobody would have thought, right, to prepare for something like this, to have, virtual stuff dialed. I think at this point, we kind of have to realize that even after they come up with the cure for the pandemic or for the virus, we're still going to probably have virtual opportunities to play these kind of shows. And if we dial this in now, our friends overseas are going to be able to see some of these shows. I know my friend Claudia here, she's in the chat. I'm glad that she appreciates seeing, she says, nice selection of guys today. So I think she likes the handsome dudes. But
I look like more Italian with my mustache.
We got Mike Skill from Romantics here too, which I'm glad he's here because you guys have done shows with Romantics before, right? Yeah. Mike and I were in the studio yesterday actually tracking some new tunes for
they actually let you
yeah, but just gang harmonies. But for the most part, that was the first drumming I've done since February. Man, it was it was cool. Eric, before we went on live, we were talking about just the kind of funk that we're in because life changed so much. I never really let it bug me. I went right into this mode of actually working on the show until I started talking to mutual friends who are struggling in this time, right, where the gigs disappeared. And even if you have kind of contingency plans where you're doing something else, you realize that our identities sort of revolve around us playing.
I was going to say that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I've always been a planner financially, so
yeah.
I plan for bumps.
Knocking the dust off of what we do, trying to get back to in playing shape. I mean, I'm like you mentioned before. Fortunately, I do have a rehearsal studio. I used to teach out of it. I did pre-production for recordings there, and I could go in woodshed, 3 or 4 days a week and get back into shape. It was closed for April, May, and June. It reopened in July, so I'm almost back to where I once was. I feel good.
That's good.
But it's part of us. For me, it's really an identity. I'm not I don't know. I need to play music with people, and playing music in my basement or in my studio right here is not the same as playing with my guys, having a musical connection. And when that goes away for a long time, it's difficult. And it's not the rock star thing that I'm a musician or anything like that. It's how I communicate and get out my feelings or get out without that outlet. It's hard.
Yeah, man, and to really explain to people that might be chatting and watching this, that don't play in a band. It's more than even just where, so Eric and Mike even rehearsing through, and you guys, you've got interaction where you can look at each other and communicate that way, but there's so much energy that comes from the crowd that you have to have in order to really feel this thing, right? And
I call it like church. It's like, it's like you have everybody vibrating on the same wavelength, and there's a feeling you get. And
hallelujah.
And when that goes away,
it
hits a hole in your life.
Right, man. Yeah.
It's a hole. And it's not adoration. It's the sharing of energy.
Yep. Yeah, I completely.
And there's one thing about, my bandmates and everything. But when you share energy with thousands of people and they're with you and you're with them.
Yeah.
And everything's hitting and everyone's, man, I used to work in a club and mixing. And when there was a hardcore show and you saw everybody like pogoing or bouncing together, when everyone's together, it really is an energy. Like from the cruise, that energy, those people were on it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That energy was like the pool, at lunch, at dinner. It was always happening.
You know what, man? People that don't know that scene too think that it's cultish, but there are these families that sort of, they derive from things like the 80s Cruise and 80s in the Sand, where, the Sanders, they call them, right? And the Cruisers. These people actually become family because they've all shared that energy together with you guys. There are a bunch of cruisers that are right here in the chat that are chiming in from other places that feel like they know you because even if they met you, once in the cruise, you guys are great about interacting with people. You maintain relationships with them online. And after talking, especially to Mike and I have had a lot of chats about this, where you guys have had really cool gigs where maybe there's a lead singer from a band that is needing a backing band, right? So that maybe the promoter can't quite afford to get the entire band out, so they'll bring in a lead singer from a band. I know that my singer was at one point.
Yep. Brett Michaels.
Brett Michaels. There you go. But even like
Snyder did that with us.
The Dee Snider thing is awesome, right? But I was going to ask you guys about some of these experiences where, because I would bet there's no time to rehearse with these guys, right? They just show up and they say, "All right, you know my song? Yeah, okay, cool," and you go.
Like I said, sound check.
I mean, sometimes we are afforded the luxury of sound check with them.
Yeah.
And said something to the effect of, make sure you play everything fast.
Oh.
So we play a little faster. Colin Hay
yelled at you.
One of his songs really slow. And
he yelled at you?
Oh my God! Colin Hay gave him the.
He played his song at soundcheck. We were very well rehearsed.
Yeah.
Colin was 7 songs, and we were backing him, and he started one of his songs out really slow. And God bless him, he was really funny and charming about it. I kept on speeding the song up till it got to album speed. By the time we hit the chorus, it felt right to me.
Right.
And he stared right at me and said, "Cut." He was like, "Hey,
wait."
Mate, he goes, "Why'd you do that? You sped up, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And he said, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "I thought you started it out too slow."
He goes, and Mike said, the record's faster. And he goes, the record's wrong.
He said, 30 years ago, recorded the song, recorded it too fast. And we laughed. Actually, we saw him on the cruise like a year later, and we had a good laugh about it. So
it's good.
And in 2020, this last one we just came off of, it's the last gig we played together, was we got to play the main room because of all the cancellations. And Taylor Dane was going to jam with us, and we played with her twice before.
Okay.
So we're like, we're going to do your songs, we're going to do a cover song, and she goes, "Oh no, we're going to do Prince." And we're like, "Oh, the ones we know?" And she goes, "No."
What?
So Drew and I at soundcheck, an hour and a half before the show, goes, "We're going to Nothing Compares to You." And I'm like, "I don't know it." Drew's like, "I don't know it." He goes, "Keyboard player's going to show it to you right now."
I can't hear him talk at all, Kevin. Can you nod and say he set you up or something like that?
I can hear you. So
yeah, I can hear you well.
So the keyboard player showed us the song, and Drew and I just did it.
Me, let me know, and I'm going to bow out of here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So so we did the Taylor Dane thing. Like we rehearsed it twice.
I can't hear. I can hear you.
and that was it.
Am I on?
Okay.
Yes, you're on. You're Scott.
Eric, hang tight. Yeah. So, Mike, if Mike can't hear us, and so I'm going to say, Mike, if you don't mind, go ahead and mute yourself, and then I'll point at you when we're going to ask you to talk. And yeah, man, Eric, like, tell me this story a little bit about what happened with the Nothing Compares to You.
Okay, so no, so I don't know if you know. Remember Joey from the cruise? He's the tech director and kind of like the band liaison.
Okay, yeah.
Bands. So yeah, we were like ran to Taylor Dane, and she's like, Taylor wants to do a song with you. So like I was saying, she came up and we're like, oh, we're gonna do one of your songs. She's like, nope. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? We know this, we know that. She goes, no, we're gonna do Nothing Compares to You by Prince. So her drummer and keyboard player knew it, and they just taught it to us during sound check. And an hour and a half later, we were playing it in front of the theater on the cruise.
Oh my God, man! You know that gig in particular. So you're talking about. Oh, hey, by the way, Paul, I'm glad to see you here, buddy. Thank you for joining us.
How could you guys get full screens and I just get this little sliver?
Oh, you know what? It's aspect ratio of whatever device you're looking on. But here, I can do this. Check this out. There you go.
All right, I gotta fix this. I've been watching you. I've been like, how do I get on this thing? I'm listening. I know these guys. This band is great.
Yeah. While you work on it, you're if you turn sideways, it may end up actually like sort of mixing up your video. If it doesn't reset itself, then you have to be a sliver. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
You're good. Let me make sure that looks good.
I'm a whiz.
I'm going to make sure that the live feed also switches there in a second. One moment. And Mike, I'm not sure if you can hear us. Oh, yeah, you look good. Paul, you're rocking.
I can
okay. Okay, cool. So we were just hearing a little bit about the Taylor Dane Nothing Compares to You thing. I was going to tell you on that cruise this last year, we got a call as a Flock of Seagulls. We got a call a couple of times because they were trying to fill up these gaps, right? We're booked for 2021. Which is now going to happen in 22. But we got a call saying Bret Michaels canceled, B-52's canceled, Kool and the Gang. Like all these bands were backing out, and so
no, Kool and the Gang came in, right?
They finally did, yeah. They were going to even fly us into like Puerto Rico or somewhere because we weren't quite ready to go. Our guitarist had gigs with Spoons up in Canada. Money looked great. They were really throwing some great money our way, and but people were apprehensive about going to be on a boat, when this virus was hitting. And so you guys come back in, and I know we're not going to talk too much about controversial stuff, but it sounded like maybe one or two of you guys got sick after that. Is that right?
Mike got sick.
Mike got the virus.
Yeah, I got sick. About a week after we came back from the cruise, I started coming down with some symptoms. I was out for about 3 weeks. All the classic symptoms: fever, chills, body aches.
Yeah.
Our female, Jenna, she was sick as well. Hers was only like about a week. But we both got over it, and I don't regret going. Some people are like, "Oh, you're crazy for going." And the month of February and March, I was in 7 different airports. I was traveling for work a lot.
Yeah.
I was happy I was strong enough to get through it. I know a lot of people, did lose their lives, and it's a sad state. I'm hoping that this, vaccine will help bring back consumer confidence and bring back togetherness. I mean, there's only so much music can do. I mean, I know it makes us all. It's what we've been doing for a living for a while, but we need the crowds to come back.
Yeah,
it will help with everybody's jobs and
sanity. Yeah, man. I think here's the great thing that I'm hearing though about the places that are being conscientious about it. If they're doing some social distancing and they're finding ways, whatever, like small clubs that are actually able to space people out, if they can, we back up a little bit, right? We all got really accustomed to and spoiled by these amazing, huge venues with people shoulder to shoulder just packed in there, all sharing the space. And hopefully we'll be able to get back there. I mean, I'm confident we will. It's just a tough time now thinking about it. But
baby steps.
Well, baby steps, exactly. Yeah, and you know what? The thing is, it does allow you an opportunity to have perspective about some things we took for granted. You know, and I don't know that any of you guys took anything for granted. I think everybody in that band seemed to really embrace opportunities you got, and you know, my band too. But I know that a lot of other musicians that I've talked to kind of got complacent. You know, they were really kind of mailing it in. I'd see some bands that really didn't appreciate their connection with people that were supporting them as well. You know, I don't want to call them fans, because to me, the people that come to shows become family, you know, and if, you know, you meet somebody in Germany and you've hung out with them a little bit after a show and they resonate with the music and you can kind of vibe with them, they're no longer a fan to me. I think they really become, you know, they're the reason we're there, right? So they're buying tickets, they're flying in, and so I'm appreciative of it. I never want to take that for granted. I don't think you guys do, but I hope that people that did are actually doing the same thing. You know, I hope that they're out there, you know, recognizing that they needed to maybe, you know, appreciate fans and family a little bit more. But hey, Paul went sideways again on us for a second, but I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully, he's all good. I was going to ask you, Paul, if you are able to twist that guy. I'm not sure why that bounced sideways, but. Eric, I was going to ask you about some of these earlier days when I first met you guys. You had done this Madison Square Gardens gig with Mike Score and some other bands. So, like, was that the first time you played the Gardens?
Yeah, it's the first time I played there. It's funny. I'm a native New Yorker. I'm one of the few guys that are actually born and bred here.
Yeah, I hear it.
In New York City. And I used to have a recording studio on 27th Street, and the Garden starts at 30th Street.
Oh, wow.
So in my original band, we had a song called Chelsea Dogs.
Okay.
And because that part of New York's called Chelsea.
Yeah.
And that's where and we had a song called Chelsea Dog, and in it was like the whole concept of what we're working so hard to get to play 3 blocks away.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
And then when I got to play there with these guys, it was, you know, it's funny, as exciting as it was one of the most exhausting shows we've ever done in our career.
How so?
It was the hardest show we've ever had to play.
Why is that?
Okay. We had all guest stars. So we had Dee Snider, Mike Score, Tiffany, Debbie Gibson, Tone Loc, the singer from Foreigner, which is from Mike's hometown.
Lou Graham, yeah.
Lou Graham. I forgot who else we had. And it was Tone Loc. Oh, and from Run DMC we had DMC.
Oh wow!
Right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we had a gig the day before, 2 days before. The day before, we had to rehearse with everybody, only at late night because they had to fly in from everywhere.
Okay.
Then we did the New York City morning show, Good Morning New York. And if you ever done a morning show, you got to get there at 5 o'clock for sound check.
Brutal. Yep.
Right. So then the show airs at 8 and you're out by 9. We got in the trucks and then we went right to the Garden to load in to sound check for all the other Gardists that
oh yeah.
In. Then we had to do interviews. Then we had to do the show.
Oh my god!
And we slept like, I don't know, 3 hours.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Between the rehearsal and the 5:30 load-in.
That's one of, you know, you kind of feel like, all right, well, of course you would trade it in a heartbeat, right?
But it was adrenaline all day.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing I could say about that show, I got that a memory, is 2 things. Dee Snider threatened to kill me at soundcheck.
Oh, what? I want to come back to that. Find out why.
And so we're doing Walk This Way with DMC from Run DMC.
Yeah. And
Dee Snider comes out and sings the Aerosmith part.
Okay.
Unannounced. We weren't supposed to be doing it with him. And so we're on stage at the Garden in front of 4,000 people, and Dee Snider comes out and sings and perfectly. And we were just like, it was a moment. Like I was like, I'm on stage with the guy that redid the song, And Dee Snider was like, "Oh, I used to sing that when I was, we did covers in the '70s when I was a young kid." And they were just vibing on each other, and they're both stacked.
Yeah, right.
Is ripped, and DMC is ripped, and they're both like into it, and it was a great moment. It was a fantastic moment.
But why did D threaten to kill you?
So we're not going to take it. And we've been playing it for, I don't know, since the band started.
Yeah.
And after 4 times, we sing the gang vocals.
Yeah.
And he stops the band. He looks at me, he goes, "Don't sing before I fucking sing."
Oh my God!
If you do that, I kill you.
Oh my God! Wow, man! And this is live or at the rehearsal? At the sound check?
This was at sound check.
Oh, thank God, man! Yeah, you don't want that happening at the Gardens. Like, what a buzzkill! I'm gonna hang Paul again. Oh no, there he is. All right, Paul's.
And you're sideways again.
There he is. All right.
This is hard.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
This is work.
This is all. You're back to paying dues again all of a sudden. If you're able to, Paul, there's an echo from my voice, so I'm not sure if you're able to put an earbud in or something.
Can you turn your volume down or use earbuds, Sky?
What? What are you saying?
Hey, Mike, man.
Can you put in headphones? It's a really bad delay coming through your feed.
And Mike Menza, you're at that stranger's house, and I thought somebody was going to run up behind you and attack you. There was somebody coming out of that truck, and they were like, "Get out of my house!" But I want to know, like,
get off my lawn!
All right,
get off of my lawn!
Paul's plugging in his headphones now, so he's going to be able to hear us. All right. And how about you now, Mike? Are you able to hear everybody?
I can hear everybody now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was going to ask you, man. Tell me, like, for me, I know there are iconic songs that you guys do, and I don't know if they are like set enders, but when you guys do "Total Eclipse of the Heart," the Bonnie Tyler tune, and I've seen, Jenna goes insane, dude. That girl, it's unfortunate she's not here because I was going to put her on the spot and have her like a cappella a couple things. Her when she does that song, the entire venue lights up, and I don't know. Do you guys say that for the end of the night? Is that a typical? It's like set ender.
No, no. It's one of the songs near the end of the night, and we do our own. Our ending of it is kind of like I heard you do a dance remix of it. So we play the song album speed up until like the very last chorus, and then we kind of give it the dance EDM groove outro.
Yeah, you got the double time thing happening.
Yeah, double time thing.
Pseudo EDM.
Yeah. Well, it's New York, man. It's a dance club thing. I was the last time that we played New York. Actually, you guys were doing a Palladium gig, but we had that Tribeca festival that we were playing, and so I was playing the same night. I was really bummed to miss you guys because I thought, man, to see you in your element, you guys are on everywhere you go, but it's I would have thought after watching videos from your Paramount show, that thing looks to be kind of like the pinnacle. You get thousands of people there every week, right?
They're home in Long Island, but in New York City, it was Le Poisson Rouge every Saturday.
Oh, Le Poisson Rouge. That's right.
Yeah. And in fact, when we were coming off the cruise,
our home bases in Long Island, it's the Paramount, and in New York City, it was LPR. And we were actually getting ready to start a new residency when we came back from the cruise. We were actually going to move. We were going to have a 9:00 start time, and it basically, COVID kind of threw a monkey wrench into our plans. I mean, we're going on. This is our 8th year of
unbelievable. Wow.
Doing this. We're playing over 7 years every Saturday night, and it's crazy not to have a Saturday night gig anymore. I mean, we definitely look forward to getting back.
We had a new space called Roomy,
bringing '80s to the masses again.
So what's Roomy all about? Where's that at?
Roomy was it's just 3 blocks. It's on 28th Street. It's just right near Penn Station.
Okay.
So people can come in on the LIRR or the New Jersey Transit, and they just walk right there. It was a dance club with a great stage and great lighting, and we were trying to get like a 9:00 slot because everyone was like, we used to go on at midnight. A lot of people would say they were just too exhausted, or couldn't get babysitters or whatever it was. So we want to do 9:00 on a Friday, and also frees us up to do more travel dates on the weekends.
I don't think it's out though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and when we get back going, I mean, I hope that venue is still ours because, I mean, I already designed it. I already designed the video screens and the whole lighting. I mean, we were ready to go when the cruise hit. We were going to come back that week and do the Roomy gig, and I actually was on the cruise preparing for it, and so I hope we get it. I hope we go back.
I'm glad you bring that up, Paul. So you're actually like kind of music director for the band, right?
Yes.
I do music, music directing, but I mean, we're very, very, I mean, the band is really strong, so the music directing is more tweaking. It's not, you know, most people come prepared. I also do the visuals, like the lighting and the video and stuff too. So.
Yeah, tell me about that. So if you're doing visual production, are you guys you're playing with a click and some kind of backing track so that you're synced up with what goes on behind?
No, we actually, I prefer live. I mean, we've done a couple songs with clicks, but clicks are really, it's not organic, and especially, I mean, I'm a computer guy. I mean, I do EDM, I like stuff, but when I'm playing with the band, I mean, I like the organic feel, and I like to try to program all the parts so I can play them. And the video show, the lighting show, do you know Ableton Live?
Yeah.
I actually use Ableton Live to control lights and visuals so that it's organic as well. And then the guys who are working with us are very talented, and they interact with that live so that we have things that are on time, and the video sequences are timed to Mike's drumming, and it's all very organic. I much prefer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try not to use click tracks. It's really every now and then there's a song that just has that really 80s thing, and
well, I run out of hands and I can't play all the parts, and I'm like, all right, I'll do a click.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. You know, I hated using a click for the longest time. We don't use one with a Flock of Seagulls. I did use one the 15 years that I was with Animotion. I used it.
That kind of stuff is so programmed.
Yeah, you had to, but it comes with all sorts of limitations and issues. And you know, not trying to get too tech for the fans and people that are watching this chat that are not into the technical stuff, but it's cool that one of your friends here says they love the production, especially the bubble machines. So
I'm in charge of bubbles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I do everything but bubbles.
I actually, you don't understand. I have like bubble machines in my garage. I have old dead bubble machines in my patio. I'm like, you know, like here I am. I have a child at my house, the business of the band, and like I got to order bubble juice.
Yeah,
we're out of bubble juice. It's like I'm like, here I am, a grown adult worrying about bubbles.
No, man, that's it worked for Lawrence Welk.
But it's funny. We have techs, and some techs do bubbles better than other techs.
Yeah,
but we have a friend of ours, Tono, and he's the bubble master.
So tell me about people behind the scenes then. I mean, what kind of production do you guys have? Do you have techs that are actually helping set up gear?
There's so many things. I mean, it all starts with Marcus Lineal, which is a guy. We were in another band before this, so I've been working with Marcus for, my God, 12 years, 13 years now. And so he does all the bookings, and he takes care of all that kind of stuff. Then we have a tour manager. Then we have our sound engineer, which is now like the 8th member of the band.
Okay.
We don't travel without him. We have our
costume
mistress. And then we have techs that do everything from drums, guitars, video, you name it.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So at a big show, there'll be 7 band members and 7 sometimes support people.
That's well, you know, Paul, you just mentioned the costumes. That's one thing about you guys too. It's crazy to come out to a Jessie's Girl show, and it's like almost like a share show, man. You'll see so many costume changes from the front people. It's cool, you know, because it totally adds to the vibe of the show. And you've got period pieces, right? You've got some songs that are just it's really representational of like the leather and, you know, that kind of rock thing, and then you've got the flowery 80s glammy stuff, you know, and so you do it well. Do you have any like funny moments of costume failures or
well, first of all, Carissa Fest is our costume designer, and she's also on site and is backstage helping the singers to sing while we're doing backups backstage.
Okay.
Because they sing backups I sing as well, but they sing backups, and she's helping them get in costumes.
So
and sometimes
while they're like getting their pants on.
No.
It's a fun deal. Because when you do everything off click, everything's going to happen live. So all the backing vocals, if there's like 4-part harmonies, they have to happen live. And it doesn't matter if you're getting, you're in your underwear. You still have to do the harmonies.
There we go.
I'm alone.
Oh,
yeah, no, you're back. You're back. There was just a little.
We had some great costume stuff.
Was the underwear too much? Did that trigger the FCC?
Oh, you know, I didn't even hear the underwear thing. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Not only have we all had COVID, 2 weeks ago here, not even 2 weeks ago, massive fires came through, right? And so within a mile of my house, we were all evacuated. We had level 3 evacuations, and everybody had to split. They have still not restored internet fully to my neighborhood and to this area. So I've been on the phone with internet providers, and they're like, you know what? Every provider is in the same spot. We can't give our full, gig internet speed. So it's nuts, man. So it drops. Look at Mike. Mike trying to get his.
Mike, stop!
Or mute yourself, Mike.
He's always making noise. This one.
We had some great things. We every now and then we do a non-80s song, or we do a song that sounds like it's from the 80s.
Okay.
And one of the songs we love doing is "The Darkness."
Oh yeah, Believe It, I Think I'll Love. Yeah.
So it was Chris's birthday, and you know who Chris is, right?
Yeah.
Tall, stunning, blonde god that's in our band.
Yeah, the guy's got a voice, man.
So he loves costumes. He has a lot of his own costumes, like besides what we provide.
Sure.
So he's like, I have a full body suit. So we're doing it at La Poussin Rouge, and we're doing the song. He's like, for his birthday, he wants to sing the whole song. Comes down in his bodysuit, and then it splits in the crotch, and his testicles fell out.
Oh, God. No. God.
I mean, most people didn't notice because the heads were blocking it.
Oh,
but it was like
front row.
You know, I always thought Chris was crazy, but that night I saw he was nuts.
Yeah.
I saw his nuts.
You know what? I'm surprised that there aren't more people in the chat here that weren't front row that actually have pictures from that night. But
there's been some costume flax. It's funny, you know. Like, in fact, we just did our gig last week, and we had a sub singer, and he's wearing Chris's robe for the Madonna song. And it got stuck on his head on stage.
Oh, my God.
Well, they're pulling it off.
Like, I can't get out.
Oh, man.
He's like, it was stuck on his elbow.
No, they literally are peeling it off him while he's on stage. I mean, it was like he's taking a condom off. It was ridiculous.
Well, you know what, man? I mean, the indoor shows, it's one thing, you got climate control, but doing those outdoor gigs where you've got tons of humidity, I would imagine getting in and out of pleather pants is probably a little tough, in the quick costume change.
Yeah.
So you've got somebody managing your social media that's here, like doing emoji cry tears right here in the chat. So that was right after the testicle show for Chris.
I really have to say one thing that we do is we have fun by ourselves. And we like to invite the audience into the stupidity.
Yeah.
It's not that it's stupid. We love it. So you have to be, the way I see it, I don't know if you guys understand what camp is, but I love camp. So it's like loving something so much that's ridiculous. Yeah. And even though you're making fun of it, you love it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what we do. It's very camp. It's
you're theatric. That's the band. I mean, you're putting on a show. It's entertainment, right? So it's one thing to have a talented musical band, to go out there and just nail these parts. But it's a whole different thing if you're actually putting on a show, and it's like you're on Broadway, right? I mean, people pay to come out and be entertained and be part of the show. It's like going to see Rocky Horror, right? I mean, it becomes an interactive thing.
And that's one of my favorite things in the world.
I mean, it really. Somebody else in the chat says, the cold gigs might be a little difficult for some of us men with spandex, So,
So many of us are based in theater because Chris and Mark both have theater backgrounds. I have a theater background. It's just like the whole show we just doing songs it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my favorite bands always had a visual aspect, and it was always like, and I love Queen, and I was a Rocky Horror fan, and I worked with a lot of drag queens, and I love cabaret, which is all camp. And when you get that, I'm like, it's more to it, and that's why I mean, we have a hard time, not a hard time, but we have a philosophy in the band: is every show it has to be as good as you're only as good as your last show. That's why we're exhausted. You put out every bit of energy in every show. You don't phone it in. You don't say, oh, this is the corporate gig or this is the third one of the day. Everyone deserves. You paid your ticket price, or even if it's for free. People came to support this. You give them a show, no matter if you're tired, no matter if you're sick. I've done a show where I had a barf thing where I had to throw up on the side of the stage and a stool.
No kidding.
My fever kicked in and there was no way to get a sub. So I just, you do the show. And to say something else about it is when I'm feeling bad, when emotionally or physically, when I play and you get that energy.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
If you had a bad day, the gig makes it better. It doesn't make it worse.
I'm telling you, going to the studio yesterday with Mike Skill was a mental lifesaver, for me, man. Even though I wasn't on stage, I'm playing live music. The first time I got to play drums since February, I could have been here, playing on my gear in my studio, but it's not the same, and having another musician right there, like who I respect and love and admire, throwing ideas and being spontaneous and tracking stuff in the studio. But, yeah, it's, I'm really glad that, Eric, that you touched on the identity thing, because people that might not realize that it's not like the ego stroke that we want, but being on stage is kind of what you feel like you're put on this planet to do, right? And so, there are some people that if they got laid off from like their dream gig, it's just that's the real, sort of like soul sucking, life change. There are a lot of us in this boat, right? I mean, everybody around the world that plays music it doesn't matter.
I don't consider myself a guitar player. I consider myself a performer.
Sure.
And to perform, you have to be in front of an audience.
Right.
Without the audience, it doesn't make a difference. I could play guitar in here in my studio all day long. Yeah, and trust me, I enjoyed being a studio owner and my band. We produce songs. But even when we're producing, when you're with people, there's a great documentary put out by the drummer from the Foo Fighters called Sound City.
That's great, yeah.
And the main thing about it is, with all this music today, you can work by yourself. And some people strive at it. I know Sky strives at being in control of everything. Doing the drums, doing the bass lines, comping the vocals. And
I'm succeeding. I'm succeeding right now, actually.
But for me, it's working with a bunch of people. Working with other humans is where the magic happens for me. Yeah. I'm not that guy.
Well, you talked about the theatric background, right? So what about these guys that are working on Broadway? Sure, so you can act at home in front of the mirror, but without having, a full ensemble and the audience participation, it's
It's also the thrill of, I have thousands of notes to play tonight, and I'm going to try to hit almost 99% of them.
Yeah.
How do I cover up the ones I didn't hit? Like, oh, I missed that, but I came out of it and we saved it. And, it's that thrill of, at home, I could punch in, fix things. Everything could be perfect. Nothing matters.
Yeah.
But on stage, it matters. You start, you go 2 hours, and it makes me not think of anything else. I have to be.
It's not just that though, Eric. It's not just about what you're individually doing. The chemistry between the band has become almost like this game. So, like, if one of us has a clam, which is, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll all look over, because it's not just about how well you can do. It's about how well you can maintain that connection. And after playing together almost 8 years, the band is so tight. And it's so funny because Drew and I are right next to each other. If I was next to Eric, you'd be looking over at me too. Drew will be playing something. All of a sudden, Drew rarely makes a mistake. He is rock solid, but if he does do something, he'll do a slow turn over to see if I'm looking. And I'm sitting there like the Cheshire Cat, like, of course I heard it. I've been playing you for forever.
Yeah, you guys don't have the hand up, like the foul policy when you make a mistake.
No.
We used to have a cat that worked with us that wanted to throw hockey pucks at us when we made a mistake.
For a while, I had this God mic. Eric hooked up something. I had a mic where I could actually talk into the in-ears. Yeah. So I started saying stuff to people, like, nice one, Drew, but in my secret mic so no one could hear. But, God forbid, if I make a mistake on keyboards, keyboard clams, they're the worst. Keyboard clams are like a fart in church. They're
true.
The worst. And I farted in church plenty.
It's funny because, fans, they see you and they don't notice your mistakes, but we notice our own mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh, we love them. We'll talk about them after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but people they say the show's perfect, and in your mind you're going, I missed 5 cues, and I wasn't on the upbeat on that one.
And Mike played "Don't Stop Believing" like 4 times too long at the end.
That's just because the part is so cool, man. It's such a great drum part, But so before you hopped on Sky, we were Eric and I were talking about the Madison Square Gardens gig and how to him, that was the culmination of years and years and years of aspirations to get to that venue. Is there a gig that stands out in your mind that you think, wow, that was my favorite Jessie's Girl gig?
I got to tell you, though, if you were talking about Madison Square Garden, as when I talk about being a musical director for the show, a lot of it is not that challenging because a lot of people come prepared and stuff. Madison Square Garden, I earned my keep on that one. I worked with all the artists. There are 8 stars we had on there. I did tracks and when I say I don't do doing tracks, I did Debbie Gibson's tracks. I actually did tracks for Howard Jones. I did tracks for Tone Loc. So I was actually preparing stuff, had people on click, and I literally was directing. I had Danny Stanton and Teresa, where Teresa Sicoli was working with us as I was sitting on stage frantic because I had tried to prepare rehearsals, and no one wanted to rehearse. So we came to 3 hours before the show, and I'm sitting here trying to get people in, and the whole thing with D Snyder and DMC had never happened, and just trying to keep on schedule and make sure everything was in. And then the Harlem Gospel Choir, I actually sang all their parts for them, put them on tape, coordinated. So the Harlem Gospel Choir was singing what I sang for them on stage.
I'll be right back.
There was so much stuff going on, and I'm just like, oh my God! I was running all these things, and it was insane. So that gig to me was where I earned my stripes in that gig, and that's where I actually came to be I really felt like this is musical direction at its best because I got live choir, writing vocal parts, arranging keyboard parts, arranging tracks, and then of course coordinating all this and getting everyone excited. And meanwhile, people are telling me Tone Loc's not getting let in the building. I'm like, he's on in 3 minutes, get him on. And then Danny Stanton was just busting ass and getting stuff going on. It was a great experience. That was absolutely the best though. Even just pulling up, just coming to Madison, loading in and be like, that's Madison Square Garden. We're loading into MSG.
Oh my God, man! It's a tough
good stuff, man.
And it was funny because we did it ourselves. Our manager booked everybody, got it. It wasn't from the stars that got us in.
Yeah,
we got those stars in, and it was definitely a hopefully we can do it again.
Oh yeah, the thing is about shows like that, because the 80s represents this era where all of us had so few things to worry about, right? Nobody was worried about politics or their bills or families and, relationship woes. I mean, most people were celebrating their first relationships, right? You're, roller skating or, ice skating with your girlfriend or boyfriend and making out with your girlfriend to those Richard Marx tunes, and that era was such a carefree time. And so people that come out to these shows get to relive those moments again. And just like you get, Eric, you were talking about, you can just forget about everything else in your life and just focus and be in the moment right there to play your instrument. Those people are doing the same thing. When they're pogoing, at the La Poisson Rouge, they're not thinking about the kids at home with the babysitter.
Well, I agree with you. And that's what we're going to try to do Friday. I just want to bring it back again.
I wanted to. Friday. I was going to ask you. So how do you do that? Are you doing costume changes and stuff there and making this feel?
We don't know what we're doing yet. We're gonna work it out. It may be more intimate. It may be a really down home, not shaven, I
don't know about that. I'm bringing cold sparks and geysers and stuff, so you can be intimate, but I'm still going to blow up stuff.
Yeah. Pyro?
This live stream is going to be hopefully a way for people to, again, put away, take an hour and a half and forget their problems and get lost in the music with us. That's what we're really hoping for that.
So check this out, folks. I want to say that most people that haven't gotten to see Jessie's Girl on the 80s cruise or Dominican Republic or any of these other really cool sort of resort things, they were forced to have to go to New York City and Long Island to watch this band. But you know what?
No, but we've been expanding. We've been doing Rhode Island. We go to Pennsylvania. We go to Boston. We're doing anything.
We fly too. We fly even, we did Arizona. We've been out Florida a bunch of times.
what we do now is
I remember seeing you guys did like
we do theaters that are within a 4-hour drive. If it's more than 4 hours, we have to fly, because then it's just too exhausting.
You said if it's more than 4 hours, then you got to fly in. But I have seen you guys did like the massive college football halftime show or something like that.
We played a stadium. We played.
Yeah. Well,
I think we opened up for Jason Aldean.
Oh, right. Yeah. So my pal Rich Redmond was on the other day. Man, Rich is Jason's drummer, and he was talking about some of these stadium gigs, and the football crowd likes Jason Aldean, I'll tell you. But what I was kind of getting to was that people don't have to worry about that proximity on Friday night. They can actually go and watch your live show by going to JESSIE'SGIRLNYC.com, right down there, that little caption, and you can buy tickets to see this live stream. They have deals.
A lot of people are having parties. There's actually somebody in Australia which is having like 40 people on a screen in their backyard.
Oh, that's cool.
It's going to be like,
wow.
I think people need an outlet. I mean, it really is. This thing is, and I've always thought that's what we were. You know, as much as people love music, we're more like fun and a good time.
Yeah.
You know, we deliver great music, but it's meant to be like, you know what? I worked hard this week. We're going to go out with my friends. We're going to get some dinner. We're going to get some drinks. We're going to go dance and sing all night with the band.
Yes, man. It's like a night out where you get comedy, you get live music, and fun people to look at. So Jacqueline, a friend of mine who's here in Portland, has been on every '80s cruise and loves the hell out of you guys. She said she can't wait that you guys will finally be back in Oregon.
I got to make a mistake. I have to make a correction. It's not Australia. It's Anguilla. It's a guy named Jake Owen.
Okay.
So shout out to Jake.
All right, Jake, you got that?
Yeah, you know what Jake's gonna do? Jake's gonna have frozen drinks on a beach watching us. I'm jealous of Jake.
That is cool, man. Yeah. Charles.
Is that Chuck?
Chuck is here. Yep. He said, "Hey guys."
Hey Chuck. What's up, Chuck?
I
love
Chuck. Joke. It's so bad.
He is awesome, man. Yeah, Chuck is a good dude. He's another like hardcore cruiser. So
and people don't know about the cruise. I mean, it's not just music. People walk around in costumes.
Right.
And it is the silliest, campiest. It's hard to explain to people that don't go on it.
But they have prom. They have 80s prom where people show up in their prom dresses. I know that they have costume contests.
So we have jocks versus nerds.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's good stuff, man. There's as things have been pushed back a little bit, I know that the next '80s cruise is now pushed to March 22, but that's going to be a fun one. And a flock of seagulls will be joining you guys there on that one.
Nice. It was Jake Owen. It wasn't Jason Aldean. Jake Owen.
Jake Owen. Okay. All right.
It's another J guy that sings country music.
You've got somebody in the background fact checking you. I love that. That's good.
We're getting texts in live here. We're getting edited.
Okay. Yeah. Chuck says Top Gun versus Caddyshack was fun on that one.
Oh yeah. Top Gun versus
How's Mike doing? You said he was in the studio with you, Mike Score?
Mike Scale, actually, from Romantics, I was in the studio with yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Mike Score is he's back in Liverpool. He was back in the U.S. for like 3 weeks to check on his property after hurricanes. And man, we've been doing a lot of band chats back and forth, talking about whether or not we're going to try and do virtual stuff. He's learning to play drums, so he's going after my gig. That's his thing. But he, I
love him.
He's a good dude.
He's one of my favorite people I've met, like with the '80s. He just is such a great guy, and we are always at the buffet together. It's like, oh, you again. So we both. He likes eating as much as I do.
I do too, buddy. That's that's my biggest vice, man. I got to tell you, like these damn.
I know, dude. It's like
Corona carbs.
And we were so skinny in the '80s. Oh my God, I was blonde and I weighed 140 pounds.
Yeah, buddy. Don't even get me started, man. It was hard enough to be in front of Mike Menza at the hot tub and on the '80s cruise and this girth. But Bonnie says Punk Prom was really great. I didn't know about a Punk Prom. Did you have one of those?
Yeah, we had a Punk Prom this year.
That's really cool, man. It's
even
all
when everything was difficult. Everyone in the cruise really came together. There was like a few people that wanted to leave, but the people that stayed. It was like a solidarity. It's hard to explain, and they still had a good time. And it was like, you know what? Everyone out there is sick. we're here protected. You know, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what this is all about, man. You know, so this show is about that. It's about the solidarity and about people, what people do to kind of overcome adversity, how they're finding ways to be positive and focus through this thing so that they can get some sort of productivity. You know, I sort of I bring this analogy of having, you know, if everything's perfect, that's your Everest, right? But I'm just looking for base camps along the way to Everest. So if I can just get a little bit of trajectory in the positive way, you guys are doing it with this show on Friday. I think it's a great thing for you to be able to play, but it's really, really good for people that need an escape. So I was excited to be able to get you guys in and talk to you about the show.
Anytime.
If you folks are out there watching, I want you to do two things. Number one, if you've not yet, please subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/allaccesslive with Kevin Rankin. I just posted this really cool Best of the 80s MTV era, where I had done separate interviews with Alan Hunter, Downtown Julie Brown, Ricky Rackman.
Oh, I love that. Alan Hunter was so nice on the cruise.
Isn't he? He is a saint, dude. I love that guy. He's funny. He's bright.
I met his kids.
And his wife is usually out there with him too, and she's just tremendously sweet. So that one's out there. It's just a quick, short 15-minute thing. So check out the Best of the MTV era. I'm compiling the Best of the 80s artists because I've got so many people that I've done in the past. I'm going to be interviewing Wang Chung in about a week, and that's going to be a really fun one. So subscribe to that, and then go to www.jessiesgirlnyc.com and grab yourselves tickets for this show. It's coming up on Friday, October 2nd, and they're going to do this live concert from the Bowery Electric Room in New York City, and you guys are going to you'll get to escape reality for just a few hours. And so, man, Sky and Eric both, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks again to Mike and Drew for hopping in there while you could. Somebody in the chat said they're going to buy Mike a new phone for their Christmas.
He could use one.
And if you guys want to know more about this band, if you want to book them for your private events and get them in a socially distant area, JESSIE'SGIRLNYC.com is where you're going to do it. Thanks again to everybody. Thanks to 5 Star Guitars for supporting the show. And both you guys, man, I'm really grateful to see you. It's nice to see your smiling faces. But thank you for being here.
All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, you guys. And everybody else out there, be good humans. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Talk to you soon.
We'll be back.
All right. Peace.